Hi everyone, welcome back to Operations Research. So this is our second course. We're talking about algorithms. In this lecture, we will give you a case study which is about service facility location selection. So for today, just as we always do for a case study or for an OR study, we start from the background and motivation for our research questions. So we will specifically tell you what do we want in this particular research and try to convince you that OR is a reasonable technique. We then go to model formulation, try to create a model to describe our problem and try to utilize the model to generate a solution. We will show you what's the result, what's its practical implication, and because in this series, in this course, we're talking about algorithms. So we will give you one example about heuristic algorithm and about its evaluation. So the story is here. The company that we cooperated with is NEC Taiwan. So NEC is originally a Japanese company. It stands for Nippon Electronics and Communications. So somehow in 1983, the company established a subsidiary or branch in Taiwan. But somehow NEC Taiwan now is an independent company in some sense. So this company provides integrated IT and IS services to many customers, like Taiwan Railways, 7-Eleven, post offices, and so on. So for example, if you go to 7-Eleven and try to pay with your Easy Card, with your those POS machines, those machines are built and maintained by NEC Taiwan. Okay, you go to those iPhone or whatever things, or you go to, there are some systems in the post office. Those are maintained and those are built and maintained by NEC Taiwan. So these customers, they purchase hardware and software, in some sense integrated services from NEC, and therefore these customers, they rely on NEC to provide what? Provide after sales service. So sometimes you go to a 7-Eleven and you see, hey, the iPhone is broken, okay? Temporarily not functional. So if that's the case, and if you really need to use iPhone to purchase some tickets or something, you will feel angry, right? Or sometimes you see the POS machine is not functional. So if that's the case, then 7-Eleven would feel uncomfortable, and 7-Eleven would call NEC Taiwan to require some technical services, to have some engineers go to the store and fix the machine or to do some maintenance. Okay, so those technical services are needed if you really want to do business, to provide services to these customers. So as of 2017, that's the year when we started to do the project, the company operates 12 service facilities around Taiwan to host more than 140 engineers to serve more than 14,000 customer sites. So each 7-Eleven store is a customer site. Each post office is a customer site, for example. So you may see the Taiwan map here. So if you cannot read Chinese characters, that's fine, because somehow you still know that this is Taipei, this is Taichung, this is Kaohsiung, something like that. Or if that does not make any sense for you, that's also fine. Somehow this is Taiwan. And around the whole island, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 facilities hosted by NEC Taiwan. And you may see that here in the right hand side, we have a lot of dots. And whenever you see that there are dots in the same color, that means all these dots are customer sites, and they are all served by a single facility. For example, the parts here are served by the Taichung facility. Okay, so somehow you may see that the reason to have a lot of facilities, okay, a lot of facilities all around Taiwan is because somehow you feel that if some 7-Eleven, some convenience stores here, if the machine there got broken, then you need to send someone to travel from here to there to do the service. And you don't want to have an engineer to travel a too long distance. So that's why traditionally they build a lot of offices around Taiwan. Okay, so that makes sense, but there is also something that you may want to take a look at. For example, if you are hired as a new CEO, maybe you would take a look at how costly it is to provide all these services. So let's assume you are newly hired and you are presented with this table. So this table shows you that from north to south, from east to west, you have these 12 facilities. For each facility, first, you can see the office rent. So that's the rent, that's the amount of money you need to pay to the landlords so that you may run this office for 1 year. Okay? So for example, Nangang is somewhere center in Taipei, so you need to pay a lot. Also, that's somewhere, some kind of the base for all these services. So that office is also very large. So you need to pay a lot of money for that particular large office. There are some other expensive places like Taichung, like Kaohsiung, because they are also large in some sense. There are also some other places where like Pingdong, Yilan, Hualien, Taidong. These locations, they are not in the middle of a big city. And you also don't need a huge space. So that's why the rents are cheap in some sense. Okay, so one cost to provide all these services are office rents. There are also some other costs. For example, there are utility fee. So if you have an office, there are some people working around and they need to use electricities. They need to use waters. They need to drink coffees. So that's why you need some utility fee. Okay? So there are some fees that are related to the location and also related to the number of engineers, number of people you put in each location. Finally, there is a set of costs called service cost. So what's that? That's the cost you pay to send engineers go back and forth between your location and the customer sites. So for example, if you have a facility here, and then there are all kinds of customers around you. So if today one machine is broken, you have someone go there and then go back. Another machine is broken there, you have someone to go there and go back. So you need to send someone to travel, and you cannot let those engineers pay their own traveling costs, right? At different places, you have different ways to send those engineers. But typically, they drive company cars from here to there and go back and forth. So for those company cars, you need to pay for the oils. You need to pay for the car maintenance fees and so on. And those fees are called service costs. That's the cost for you to provide the services or to specifically travel between your facility and the customer sites. All in all, this, and that altogether is roughly 100 million NT dollars. So one thing I need to tell you is that because the real numbers are the secret for the company, so we are not allowed to reveal the true numbers for you. But that's pretty much the same, pretty much close to the real practice. So somehow you may still think about, well, that's not a small number. Maybe there are some ways to think about whether we may cut down some facilities to save some office rents. Right? For example, if you know the situation of Taiwan, you probably know that Kaohsiung and Pingdong are close to each other. Maybe we may close one facility. For example, the facility in Pingdong. You may also know that Nangang and Danshui, they are close to each other. Maybe we may close the Danshui facility. Maybe that's a good idea. But once you close some facilities, for example, Hsinchu facility, maybe. Once you do that, those customers near Hsinchu, they must be sent to Taoyuan or, for example, Taichung. Then in that case, the traveling distances would become larger, and then you need to somehow increase your service cost. So here comes a very natural trade-off between office rent and the service cost. If you cut down some facilities, then you save office rent, but then you need to pay more service cost or traveling cost. Or if you build a lot of facilities, then service cost is low, but then you need to pay a lot of office rents. So here comes an optimization problems. Specifically, among all these 12 facilities, should we keep all of them, or should we cut down some of them? So that's the issue.